Hi, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your January 16th to the 31st, 2022 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. All right, so let's see what the tarot has to say. Scorpio, January 16th to the 31st, 2022, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. 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 At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Tower and we have the Magician. I actually love this combination. So it's like everything fell apart and we're stepping out into our power, into our desire, into who we truly are. But it's almost like we had to lose it in order to gain it all, in order to gain even more than what we had lost. And this is just, the Tower is simply divinity throwing us out of our comfort zone. So it doesn't have to be any big scary thing, which usually we think, oh my gosh, the Tower, it's so scary, it's so overwhelming. No, it doesn't have to be. So just be aware of that. We have the Seven of Wands and we have the Chariot, which is Cancer energy. So if we have Cancer within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully here in the public, in our inner self. We have the Three of Swords and the King of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And then we have the Death card, Scorpio, that's us. We're represented by the Death card in the Major Arcana. We're represented by the Cups in the Minor Arcana. And then we have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, there's a beautiful ending here that leads to a whole new beginning, and it's just echoed through each and every segment of this reading, which is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so let's see what we have to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So this is the Prince of Pentacles. This is Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and this is hidden words around money. So being aware of this is going to be very, very important for us. Hidden words around money, hidden things that are hidden within documents. There is something here where somebody's going to tell you half of the truth, not all of the truth around things. And this could be something totally benign, or this can be something that we just have to be aware of, that we just have to be mindful of during this time. So that's going to be very important for us. And especially when it comes to the decisions that we're making, it's kind of like, I need to have more information. I need to have more understanding. And there's going to be lies around it. So just be aware of that. So let's see here what our chakra energy is. Angels and spirit guides, guide me clearly. This is rebirth. Now that is what we're all about. Scorpio, we are all about rebirth. We transform, we become greater than we ever thought we could be. Sometimes we get knocked down in ways that we never thought we would be. And it's all about being reborn into our power, into our greater understanding, into who it is that we're supposed to be. We crawl like the inchworm on the ground, which is no bad thing at all. But then we also fly like the butterfly through the trees, through the flowers, and we go through cycles of both. So that's going to be very important for us. We are reborn into our power, into our understanding. There is something here where the knowledge starts to come in, and it comes in more deeply and more honestly than we had anticipated. So let's talk about this time astrologically speaking. From the 16th to the 31st, and if any days are missing in the astrology of it, just know that nothing is happening on that day that's of big astrological importance. So on the 16th of January, we have the Sun conjunct Pluto. Now this is important. We are ruled by Pluto. So whenever Pluto comes up here, Scorpio, it's going to be amplified for us. Just as if the moon comes up, the moon rules Cancer, that's going to be very powerful for us. So the Sun is conjunct Pluto, and this brings deep and intense emotions to the surface. We want to expand and better ourselves, and we will not be satisfied with the easy way. We're actually going to choose the more challenging ways to get the more out of things. There is amazing willpower to harness on this day. If we harness it, we can see life-changing events move us forward. The 17th of January has the full moon, the wolf moon in Cancer. We're going to be deeply affected by that on our inner selves. We might even see that the moon is affecting us way before it is the full moon. So just be aware of that. Maybe not way before, but definitely time before the full moon. On the 18th of January, we have Uranus going direct. Now, Uranus went into retrograde on the 19th of August. And when Uranus goes into retrograde, it brings the inner challenges that come to us. It brings inner challenges that come to us because of the outer challenges that we are experiencing within our lives. And now that it is going direct, things are going to start to stabilize. Things are going to start to calm down in a very real way. On the 23rd of January, the Sun is conjunct Mercury retrograde. Now, this is a fantastic aspect for artists or people looking to create new ways forward in their lives, new connections within their lives. Now, because Mercury is in retrograde, there can be some frustration around the conceptions, the ideas, the, putting into reality what it is that we want. Don't let this hold us back. Embrace the challenges, embrace the open mind, embrace the communication. Even if it is kind of muddled because of Mercury retrograde, embrace the way that we move forward. On the 24th of January, we have Mars entering into Capricorn. This is a time that if we have anything that we want to conquer, anything that we want to go after, this is the day to do it. Here we have the warrior's energy of Mars and the practical energy of Capricorn, which means that almost anything is possible. We also used to be ruled by Mars before Pluto was discovered. So here, that energy also echoes true within us, Scorpio. So just be aware of this, that this can be even more intense, and that we do have that warrior spirit to us, even though people don't always understand it within us, because it manifests itself a lot differently than it manifests itself within Aries. So just being aware of that. On the 26th of January, Neptune is squared Lilith. Now, this is a very powerful alignment. Neptune is the ruler of our dreams, of our heart's desire. Lilith has us looking at our darker fears, at, our doubts, at the way that we don't think that we can move forward. And this is all accumulating around our dreams, around where it is that we want to be within our lives. And this can be overwhelming, especially if we're not used to looking at the fears that we have, looking at the things that have held us back, that have kept us from our dreams. And this is going to be a time where we're starting to see it, and it's becoming more real to us. We're gaining a greater understanding, and we're looking at that fear, and it can actually, excuse me, become part of our art, part of our expression, part of what we deeply desire to create the life that we want. On the 29th of January, the sun is sextile Chiron. Now, this aspect shows us our wounds within our strengths. So this forces us to really face and see what we might not want to, because it's saying here, okay, we might be strong in this area, but we still have our weaknesses. Let me understand my weakness. Let me, heal. Let me look at the way that I need to move forward. Now, I just need to get a sip of water. This brings us to the next aspect on the 29th of January, Mercury conjunct Pluto. Again, stronger for us because we are ruled by Pluto. This makes us greatly intelligent and deeply curious, which we are anyway. Because Mercury is in retrograde, we can be all over the place, and our curiosity and our need to discover can be absolutely everywhere. So just be mindful of it. We can feel scattered on this day, but if we look at this energy and say, okay, I'm going to be scattered, but I'm actually going to come up with some really good ideas. I'm going to be led by spirit in some really fantastic ways. Let me discover, let me see. That's going to be very beneficial for us. The 30th of January has the sun squared Uranus, and people can find us a bit abrupt and provocative during this time. We can find others a bit abrupt and provocative during this time, but what it's going to be is that everybody is astoundingly driven. Everybody is looking to go their own way, to stand out, to really let themselves express and be who it is that they need to be. So this is going to be a day where we might get on each other's nerves, but we also have a lot to offer. The tower comes in at our root, which is never something that everybody wants to see, but the tower is important. The tower is divinity saying, I'm pushing you out of your comfort zone. Things had to fall apart in order for them to be rebuilt better and stronger. It's kind of like having a building and saying, oh no, it's fine, but the roof is leaking and the foundation is shifting and the walls are starting to crumble, and just saying, oh no, it's fine. It's not. And divinity says, okay, you're going to start to notice when the rain comes in on your head and you're inside. You're going to start to notice when you can feel the wind and you're inside. And sometimes we don't, because we've become so used to it. We just think, oh, I'm putting on another sweater, I'm holding an umbrella over my head, everything's okay. And that's when divinity makes things crumble around us and says, no, you have to get out of this. You have to move past your comfort zone. You have to move past the fear of where we are, or the fear of where we no longer want to be, and need to move into the place that is right for us, the place that guides us, the place that is so important for us. And that never happens until the fear of where we are exceeds the fear of change. Because human beings, we're not really that keen on change. Some of us love it, but a lot of us just don't. And so here it is that moment, and it could have been 16 years ago that happened, that we were thrown out of our comfort zone. We're still gaining our footing. We're still finding our way forward. It has been a journey. And Spirit always says to us that life is a journey, that it's about the journey, not necessarily the destination. And yet we as human beings think, oh, well, if you get to that pinnacle, if you get to that point, then you will be happy. Then you will have everything figured out. And that's not necessarily the case. It brings us to the magician. And the magician says, as above, so below. As you believe it, so it becomes. And that's a very powerful thing. The magician keeps on coming up from the 16th to the 31st for everybody. And that is so beautiful, because this is a magical time. Divinity is really showing us that this is a magical time for us. If we can stand before the altar of who we are, if we can look at our elemental powers, the powers that we were born with as a human being, and we can claim our space, we can claim our voice, we can claim what we desire within our life, that becomes the game-changing time. This becomes a time where we start to see ourselves as valuable and worth it. We start to say, there is more here to me than meets the eye. We start to really see and express and become what it is that we deeply and desperately want to be. And as we're doing that, there's a bit of magic to us. But as we're doing it, we also have to be very mindful of our minds. What are we feeding our thoughts? How are we feeding ourselves? Are we saying, oh, I want to be, a an artist or a parent or a business person or whatever? And are we saying to ourselves, I'm just not talented enough and that person mocked my art and so I just can't do it? Are we saying, oh, I'm too old or I'm too young or, I haven't met the right person so I'm never going to be the parent that I want to be or in the relationship that I want to be? Are we saying to ourselves, I just don't have the same education as everybody else. I just don't have the same credentials. I'm not going to be able to move forward in business the way that I want to, because they're just not the opportunities for me. Are we going to let ourselves be stopped? Or are we going to say, you know what? I can make it. I know I can make it. And just have to open up different doors for us, have to open up windows, have to sit there and look at ourselves and say, I'm letting my energy come into me. We can find places at work that will train us, that will help us, that will guide us forward. People who are sitting there and saying, I'm looking for somebody who's like this, who has these talents, or who can, follow the instructions that I give them to produce what needs to be produced. And all of a sudden, doors can start to open for us. And it doesn't mean that we have to do things the same way that everybody else does them. What it means is that we can learn as we go, that we can grow as we start to see our own power and our own, purpose in life. And that becomes the game changer. And that leads us to the Seven of Wands. This is really a time where we're looking at the rubble and it's like, oh no, I'm going to rebuild better and stronger. I'm going to build what it is that I want in my future, not what it is that I thought I was supposed to want. And the Seven of Wands is telling us, do not be combative. Stand your ground, know what it is that you want, defend what it is that you have, but do not let others rule over you. Do not let yourself have your energy constantly wasted on one battle after another, because it's just not going to be worth it. Yes, if we're in a situation where we have to fight for ourselves, if we're in a situation where we say, I'm not going to let people walk all over me, that's important. But if we're wasting all our energy fighting endless battles, that's going to take away from us. And fighting every battle, not letting things go, becoming negative, becoming overwhelmed, becoming chaotic, it leads us to the Chariot, where the Chariot says, let your heart guide you. We're discrediting our own hearts. And that's where our power leads us. That's where our power is, Scorpio. That's what we are. We are water sign energy. We are our hearts. And if we forget that, we forget who we are. And so this is the subconscious and the conscious coming together. This is the intention and the purpose and the power and the focus guiding us forward. And it leads us to look at where we are broken within our heart. What pains do we hold on to? What ways do we say, this is what defines me? This is who I am. This is how I have to live my life, in this pain, in this hurt, in this sorrow, in this, 12-year-old boy, girl who wasn't seen, who wasn't heard, who wasn't taken seriously, in this 6-year-old who was abandoned, in this, 25-year-old who loved so desperately this person who couldn't see them, who couldn't respect them. These are the things, these are the wounds that we hold on to. And we leave them in, we leave the swords in, and they become just tragic for us. Because we say, I am my worst moments. I am my greatest disappointments. And Spirit is saying no. It's starting to name it. Naming it is one of the ways that we start to have power over it. We start to have power over our pain. And as we name our hurts, as we name our disappointments, as we name our chaos, okay, we start to release it from our lives. And we start to heal because we're releasing the swords. And it brings us to a place of prosperity, to a place of success, to a place of wealth, to a place that we really want to be. And it starts to open us up to blessings, to new beginnings, to new passions, to new insights. We're looking at things, and this is the harvest that comes with the hard work and through the hard work. This is like, okay, listen, I planted the seeds, I nurtured them, I took care of them, I fought for them. This is the knowledge that comes in. This is the wisdom that comes within our dreams and within what we desire. This is real world application to what we deeply want from our lives. This can be people who say, okay, XYZ needs to be done like this. This can be a very practical person also coming in and having an emotional effect on us. It doesn't have to be a lover or anything like that. It can just be a person whose wisdom comes in and it's like, oh, well, that's what I was missing, wasn't it? Oh, that's what I needed to see. Oh, that's how I needed to move forward. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, I see me and I claim me. And we're moving, we have one chaotic card, right? And then one balancing card for it all. So we're moving into this place of change, and we're moving into this place where we're saying in our heart, I deserve to be wealthy. Now, either that's material wealth, with the money that we can count, or that's the wealth of our soul, the wealth of ourselves, the passion, the desire to move forward. And it brings us to the Death card. And the Death card says here, new beginnings, transformation. And what does it say? It's transformations, new beginnings, change, endings. And it repeats that as a mantra throughout the whole entire card. And what we're going to see here is that we are transforming. We are embracing new beginnings. We have this change coming forward. And we're looking at the ending. And the ending here with the Eight of Cups, it says change, shift, change. And the Eight of Cups is an ending. It is something that we're learning to walk away from. It could be a relationship, it could be a divorce, it could be as severe as that, but it can be an old way of thinking, an old way of looking at ourselves. Emotionally, in the public arena, we are calling an end to something. We're saying, you know what, no, that's not right in my life anymore. It can be the way that we talk to ourselves. It can be our inner dialogue. It can be, what we want from our lives. We could have thought, okay, more, and more. And now Spirit is saying, okay, well, what am I really drawn to? What do I really desire? Have I ever claimed it? Have I ever said it? Do I see myself, moving forward this way? Or do I see myself, having this dream, having something that I really desire, but I'm afraid of it? In the comment box, if you want to, leave the dream that scares you. Say it. Say it to this community. Say it to Spirit. Say it to yourself. If you don't want to leave it in the comment box, I completely understand, but say it. Say it and see what becomes of it. Say it and see what happens as we look at what we desire and what we fear. Do we fear being in a relationship because our parents had a terrible relationship and we think, oh my gosh, not me, right? Do we fear being in a relationship because of hurts and pains that we've been in before? Do we fear having this successful business or having the success that we want because, we could fail, because it could all come crumbling down? What do we fear? What do we fear? What do we want? Where do we desire being? Are we writing ourselves off in Spirit? It's like sitting there jumping up and down next to us, most definitely, and saying, stop it, stop it. It's changing, it's not wrong. It's changing, it's not wrong. I mean, this is the essence of ourselves coming forward. If we let ourselves be, we can be more ourselves now, Scorpio, than we have almost ever dared to be before. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Queen of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It's getting caught up in the other person's passion, getting caught up in a way that we think it's supposed to be, not in what we actually desire, what we actually want. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, and that is personal power. This is the solar plexus chakra. What is my power? What is my strength? Are we starting to see ourselves as powerful people? Or are we starting to see ourselves as, people who still have a long way to go to claim that power? It's time to start seeing ourselves as the powerful individual that we are. It brings us to our subconscious rooted message, and that is judgment. That is our angels, our spirit guides, calling us out of the box that we put ourselves in, calling us out of how we've undersold ourselves and saying there's so much more to you. There's so much more to you. Release yourself from the box. It brings us to our subconscious inner self. And it's the Eight of Swords. It's being way too much in our own heads. It's overthinking. It's overanalyzing. It's holding ourselves back. It's saying, oh no, I couldn't possibly do this. And now it's like, yes, I can. Now it's time to break that barrier, because we can live our whole life trapped in our own thoughts, in our own negativity. I mean, Lord knows I have this problem. I get so much in my own head, and then it's like, oh no, I can't do it. I can't possibly, have the relationship that I want, live my dreams, go after what I desire. Do you not realize you're supposed to fail, right? That's what I tell myself at times when I'm feeling down and overwhelmed. And I have to, kick myself in the tush and say, stop it. Stop it, Dane. You can move forward in you. We all do it. We all do it. Do not let this be our destiny. The Eight of Swords is where so many people live in this world. So many people live in their own heads, in their own doubts. They let other people's negativity come in, let other people's, mocking be their guiding light. We cannot live somebody else's life for us. We cannot make their life ours. It's time to say, this is who I am, and this is what I want, and this is what I need for myself and for my soul. Heck with what everybody else thinks. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self. And that's the Five of Swords. We're going to be facing a battle that we have faced before. Are we going to want to face it? No, nobody does. But we're going to be seeing ourselves becoming victorious because we're standing up for us. Instead of acquiescing and saying, oh no, it's not a big deal. It might not be a big deal. But the big deal can be, I stood up for me. The big deal for me, the big deal can be, I'm not letting myself be bullied by anybody else. I'm sitting there and saying, this is what's right, that's what's wrong, I'm not doing this. And that's important. So we're going to see ourselves facing challenges, and we're going to think, oh, I can walk away, or oh, it's not that big a deal, and we're going to start to choose us. And that's going to be really powerful. It moves us to our subconscious public arena self, and that's the Ace of Cups. It says love, relationships, beginnings. There's so many new beginnings that are happening in the public arena. And we're taking this gift of the Ace of Cups because we have our magician at our root. We don't even know that we're taking it, but we are. And we're taking these blessings. We're gaining this understanding. And we're saying, I'm moving forward in the power, in the passion, in the beauty that is me. We can find ourselves being more sensitive in the public arena. We can find we're taking things a bit more personally because we're looking at things much more complexly than we have before. And we're letting the healing waters wash over us, wash away so much negativity, so much hurt, so much pain, that we can find that we cry easily, that we can find that things touch us emotionally quite intensely. So just being aware of that during this time and letting our heart guide us. This is a gift for us, Scorpio. We are represented by the cups in the minor arcana. The death card in the major arcana. We have the gift from God, Source, Spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, coming just for us, handed to us, to the very essence of ourselves. And that is extraordinary. All right, Scorpio, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this time. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Scorpio.